Hey, Ted here. Today we're taking a look at technical analysis for YFI. I'll cover wave analysis with Elliott Wave theory and provide multiple scenarios price may take and explain why I prefer one count over another. Let's take a look at the different possibilities. Starting here on daily time frame and looking at the more bullish version first, in which we would have this as a wave A, B, and then C wave coming down. Again, why bullish is just because again this structure would be ending soon-ish. Not soon, but soonish. For this one, again, we have to be concentrating on the orange count here, of which, again, this would be A wave, B wave, and then C wave. For the C wave, we would have this as a 1, 2, 3, 4, very high 4, which makes this less likely of a count. We have to remind, I have to remind you about that. And then we would be looking for that fifth downwards. For the fifth, I think this would fit pretty well downwards as some kind of zigzag pattern coming down and zigzag up, which leads us to only possible solution for here, which would be some kind of a diagonal. Now again, we have been tracking this, and in this we would be having just a 1, 2, and 3 complete here, looking for 4th, 5th, and then a retracement for a higher time frame 1, 2, and then we would be looking for downwards again. On higher time frame, we would be looking to take out the lows that we had here around 39, or basically 4K, and then have that divergence on a higher time frame against the 5th here with the price and RSI. But of course, that is going to be shown on most likely the weekly, so that is definitely something to keep in mind. Now, the other scenario here on the same chart is that we would have this as a wave 1, then another wave 2, and this structure that we are having here as that potential 5-wave move, or the C wave, we would have that as a 3rd wave, because again it is very extended. If we are comparing this wave 1 to that 3rd here, 3rd structure on logarithmic scale, we are getting well beyond the 1.618 here. So that is one reason that there is a definitely possibility that this is indeed a 3rd wave coming down, creating this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and at that point we would have the 3rd. This would be the 5th here, which would end the 3rd, and then we would be getting 4th here, and then another low here. So this is again a bit more bearish version of the same count, but again, this is going to be the telling tale, which one of these counts is going to be playing out. If it is this one where we have 5 waves coming down, that is going to be very, very much more bearish, because on higher time frame we can't end anything with a 5 wave here, because again, well, we could, but we don't really have any data here to back that up. So we probably need to be assuming that this is the first 5 wave leg coming down, and whatever we are getting after this is going to be some kind of a structure that is correcting the previous move, meaning correcting this part. It can range all the way up to, well, it can range all the way up to the 1.618 retracement of this whole move, which would be very much new highs at least, and even a million here. Of course, we are on a logarithmic scale, so some of the targets here are very absurd. 151k, but I just don't see that either. If we are retracing this, I would assume that we would be getting like to the golden pocket area more certainly than any of these targets. Again, those are a bit more moonboy targets. Golden pocket 21k, and then I would be expecting a reversal at latest. Of course, it depends on what kind of structure we would be getting here. And yeah, there is definitely a lot of time until that is going to be happening, if at all. But those are the impulsive wave structures coming down. Let's take a look at the WXY count that we have been looking at. So in arithmetic scale, it would be looking like something like this: ABC. Let's zoom in a bit. ABC into W, ABC into X, and then 3 waves into wave W here. And then we would be looking at a 3-way structure into X wave here. And then again, we would be looking at the 3-way structure in here into wave C, and then wave Y completing at that same place. So at the moment it is still possible that whatever we had here is actually done, and now we would be looking at least some kind of correction here that we are expecting in some other assets. And if the other assets like S&P 500 and Bitcoin is going to be rallying, it gives the possibility for this YFI as well to be rallying with them. However, again, it is very weak on its own. It hasn't really put on much possibilities for any kind of 1-2 rallies or any kind of impulsive rallies, because again, this structure from the lows is very much of 3 waves. So this is again the lows of June 18th, where we had a lot of other cryptos bottoming out as well. And even though this did rally a lot, like 250%, it was a 3-wave structure. So that has to be kept in mind when wanting to make this into something more bullish. It can of course climb correctively, but that is all it can do. At the moment, again, same with the the more impulsive count downwards. We can be labeling this as 3 waves. This is just another way to look at this. We don't need to be getting an impulse wave here, so we don't need to be forcing that diagonal in here. In this one, we can just label this as a 3-way structure, another 3-way structure, and then look for another 3-way structure here, possibly. We could be getting something like that. At the moment, the retracements are really small here, and also the extensions are not really expected values, so it is possible that we are still not created these lows here. Now the other possibility is that instead of wave X being up in here, we would create this as the first leg of that X wave, second leg and third leg. Why am I even saying that? Is because again, we did not take out the RSI low that we had from the start of that wave X. Generally, when we are creating the expanded flats, we are getting right to the 1.236 to 1.382 retracement level of this original move here, and then we would be creating another 5-wave move push up higher. At the moment, of course, this does not really fit too well into a very impulsive count of the lows, if we are zooming in soon. But yeah, that is definitely a possibility. At that point, again, wave X would be getting up higher here, and then we would be looking for lower prices again, with this wave X being somewhere over here. Depending, of course, how high this X goes, we can get some kind of targets down for these retracements or extensions, sorry, and we can be giving some kind of probabilities which one is more likely, whether this whole structure is going to be an WXY or ABC. With the ABC possibility is when we get to these areas of $5,500 and below, because again, the flats need to retrace this much, around the 90% area or more. When this whole structure is going to be invalidated is again on the minus scale, minus 2,000, which again does not really work here. So we probably need to be looking this at on log, which would be around $1,800. Again, that is another 70 or 80% drop down from current prices. So again, not really realistic to assume that at this very moment, again, as that is just one of the counts that we have here. But yeah, those are the two expectations here with the WXY. In smaller time frame, let's take a look at that. From the lows that we currently have, we've had this not very good looking structure higher. It is possible that this whole sideways structure that we are getting is actually part of a B wave or an X wave. We did retrace quite well here, right around the 90% area, so it is qualified as a ABC structure or the flat structure as well. However, we on the other cryptos, we've had this as a potential 5 waves. So in that mind, we can still have this as a zigzag pattern in which the middle structure here is a 3-way structure, expanded flat here. Of course, this structure is definitely not that easy to see or label how it is. So we'll see how that turns out. Again, this definitely feels like a 3-way move. Nothing else really fits here. the internals are just not that great for either of the cases. If we have this as a 5-way structure, looking at the pivot point from here on out upwards, it is not either very clear what this is about. Again, if we are measuring this out, the 1-to-1 extension would be the target, which would be around 8k. At this point, we have already created this potential 3-way structure, which definitely does not really fit into the idea of this being a impulsive way count. However, again, if we want to be labeling this impulsively, the only option we have at the moment is that we would be creating a 3-way structure backwards or downwards, and then create that diagonal look here. At that point, again, we can get to the 1-to-1 or anywhere beyond here. Should be fine as well. So those are the only options I see at the moment. Where would I be looking for long setups here on YFI is if you actually get some kind of good looking structures from here. At the moment, there is not really clear divergence even on 5-minute time frame. We did get a continuation divergence here. So on smaller time frames, I assume that there is still no divergence here. That is odd. Maybe a 1 minute. Okay, on 1 minute there is actually a divergence here, and at that point we could be saying that we have 1, 2. Well, again, that is not the right place for it. Maybe this is 1, 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, third, fourth and fifth. Okay, we have to assume that this is a 5-way structure here if we want to have any kind of divergence playing out here. So we do have that regular divergence here and a hidden divergence here, saying that we would be pumping up higher, most likely creating a connector leg for this structure over here, and then continuing down again. If we want to be again measuring this out, we can be looking at some of these targets here. 1-to-1, again, taking out the liquidity that we have up above here, around 7.7k, and then coming down again. Assuming again we are pivoting from that area, we would be looking at some of these structures here, or some of these areas here. 7.4k would be the main target again. How would you enter here if you want to be either looking for a 5-way structure in here and get that divergence at one of these pivot points, 1.382, 1.236 or 1-to-1, and then you would be looking for that entry downwards, again having the very tight stop loss around the 1.618 here, because again we don't really want to see this going beyond the 1.618, as that is going to be starting to remind us and resemble more of a bullish move instead. Let's take a look at also the retracement here, what we're getting. Golden Pocket is all the way up at the 1.618, so it is very high up in there. So we'll see how that turns out. If you want to be more careful with the entry, there is of course a possibility where you are expecting a 5-way structure coming down and then a pullback, and then you would be entering against the highs here. That is just because again we are getting 5 waves in here. We would be expecting 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 here as well to get that short position here, targeting of course the 1.618, the extension of this first leg for this third leg over here. But I think that is pretty much all the expectations and how I might be playing this if I can catch these. I'm definitely going to be setting some alarms here to check out on the progress here. If this is going to be playing out the way I want, I'm going to be entering. If not, then I'm just going to let it slip and go pass by. But I think that is pretty much all I want to share here on YFI at this moment. If you made it this far into the video, I would appreciate the likes. Link to my free Discord server in the description below. And for now, I thank you for watching and hope you have an amazing rest of your day. See you in the next video. Bye bye.